Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do something that's pretty fun. We're going to do a nice vast mountain scene with some beautiful fall colors. And of course, if you're enjoying it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for future painting videos. So let's get started. We'll start off today with our 2-inch brush and a little bit of blue and red, not much red though. And I'll just pick a spot up here and begin painting. There, and I coated the top here with a little bit of clear gel and white. Next, with a filbert brush and a beautiful gray color, I'm going to drop in the shadow to a couple clouds here. Now, as you can see, I went ahead and just did a quick outline of the mountain, but I didn't fill it in and I didn't even sketch much down here yet. And the reason for that is because I got a request a few weeks ago that next time I did a mountain to show and explain a little bit extra. And so I said, okay, I'll give you some more tips. So we're gonna spend a little extra time on that mountain. See if I can kind of help you guys along a little bit with it. There. Maybe we want a little small cloud that kind of connects to this one. We can do that, that's fine. And, okay, how about right here? Just look around and figure out where you think they would look good in the composition. And sort of place them in. And now that you're done painting in the darks here, take a little bit of white on the edge of the filbert and just scrub in some highlight areas. Not a big deal. I'm not gonna make an extremely detailed sky today, so just sort of have fun and be loose. I'm simply just using white right here on the palette, and it will mix with what we have down because there's a couple layers of wet oil paint already built up by now, so it will mix. No reason to tint your white with a color, although you could if you wanted it to be even more subtle than this, but I think for our purposes today, this is going to be pretty good. There. Work leaving little layers in the cloud. Don't paint the whole thing in, that won't look so good. There. My light's going to probably be coming across like this today, unless we change our mind, which I don't think we will. There. So that matters. Even the clouds get hit with the sunlight. So it really does pay to sort of sit and think about the sunlight for a second. There. Soften it with this brush if you want to. Leave some brush strokes. It's kind of fun sometimes to do that. Next, I'll pick up a little bit of blue, black, and white on my filbert brush. And let's focus in on this mountain. Now we're going to go ahead and just underpaint it with some dark. And I'm going to do this pretty quickly because it's not too important. Now my mountain is not overly large. It's probably going to be somewhere like that. It's not too big. And if you were to take this mountain and paint it way down here, oh boy, you would have a lot of problems because you have to cover up that paint with trees and everything else. So save yourself some trouble and just don't paint the mountain where it's going to get covered. I'm going to bring this one up because I feel like it's just that peak was too isolated. So I'm making these tiny ridges. Be really sharp with your hand movements to create these ridges, okay? That goes up a little. That's good because I kind of like my mountains flowing into the painting versus out of the painting. But that's up to you. That's kind of, and I don't even follow that all the time. It's just if I can do it and if I remember it, that's kind of what I try to do. All right, a little more blue, and I'm gonna change up these colors so it's a little more random. See that? Good. We have a nice strong underpainting now. Now I'll load up our 3/4 brush with a little bit of white and just pull it through evenly. And what I'm gonna do to start out this mountain, and you can start in different ways. I'm just gonna start out by painting in some of these beautiful, beautiful snow areas. So continue picking out areas in your painting. See that? Use the chisel edge of your brush to create some of these sharp angles, just with a touch of the brush. Didn't take a whole lot of work to get this to happen. Okay. And don't get anything too big. Keep everything pretty small and tight. Next, I'll pick up a little bit of pure white on my detail brush, and I'm going to make this mountain glow more. So to do that, we'll just sort of cut in some slivers of light here and there. And the smaller and choppier you make your brush strokes, the better. See that? Allow it to mix with some of the blue. I did take just a couple seconds and put a little extra dark in there See that? And change some of the angles. That's just something I wanted to do. All right. I've got no medium down here, so I can actually rest my hand down here and get some of this detail action. Cool. And so you don't want to overdo, though, of course. I'm trying to think of as many tips as I can while I go along here. You don't want to overdo. You don't want to overdo, because if you do a little bit too much highlighting, then it doesn't glow as much. It looks just kind of flat. Good. All right, that's probably close to enough white. I don't want to really go crazy with this. Put a little over here just so it's not flat. I love this brush though. Wow. I cannot wait for you guys to have this brush. It helps so much. Talk about making things like this just easy. Right. And while we have this brush, I'm going to go with a more distinct blue and white shadow. So the secret here, one of the secrets, is packing a lot of detail in your mountain. As much as you can. Hard to over detail anything. Just keep your brush strokes choppy, keep the colors soft. I wish I could paint this mountain for you all day long, but it would take well over an hour to tell you what I want to about mountains. So if you need more help than this, I'll stick a DVD up on the screen for you that might help you. It offers a lot of tips about mountains and goes into more depth than I can get into in here. In fact, we have 2 of them. You might like them both. Different techniques and different ways to paint mountains. There. Next, I'll load our filbert brush with a nice soft golden yellow color. And as you can see, I threw in a background mountain just very quickly, loose gray, and a little bit of red down here. Just to get something to paint over top of. Now I'm going to dab in our little trees. And as you may remember from other paintings where we've done these vast hills and valleys full of trees, a lot of this is just quickly tapping. And this is the best way that I've found, at least, to get a really nice effect. You know, you can get in there and do a ton of them all at once with a big brush, but you don't get the variation and the subtle detail that you do spending an extra 5 or 7, maybe 10 minutes doing these little strokes. And I don't know about you guys, but at least in my painting, for me, it's worth it. There. Just relax. It's not difficult. Just have fun. Leave a little dark and let your brush strokes get bigger as you wander forward. These are little tiny trees in the background. The leaves are changing colors. There. And this is going to be a shift down here to like another rolling hill. So don't get them down too far yet. Now I'm going to shape just a few trees up here. I don't want to go crazy, but what I do want is to create a bit of a shape, you know, that kind of follows maybe a slope to this foreground land area. There. Okay, maybe this is evergreens and our autumn colored trees together, just like we did in the background. That makes a lot of sense. I don't think it'd be too interesting if we just did one or the other. There, leave a decent amount of sky showing through. I'm not concerned too much with it, but I do want some. I'm just going to work using this filbert brush, creating all these little detailed trees. And let me just show you. You can take your little detail brush after you kind of get it blocked in. I don't want you to sit here forever with this brush, but after you get it blocked in, if you choose to just sort of bring out a few of the edges with detail like this, you can. You can draw in little limbs and stuff. So that's just up to you. I think that's kind of neat. Now, using a combination of the filbert brush and a little detail brush, I'm just highlighting and detailing out the foreground. There. So it's very similar as before. I just do a lot of work with the filbert, sort of make it look extra special with the with a little detail brush. There. And I am varying my colors quite a bit. Look, you can put orange in evergreen trees. You can put gold in there, that's fine. Maybe those are dry leaves or something, you know? It just is silly to come in here and think you have to only paint things in one color. So at this point right now, I'm actually sort of cleaning up some of these areas with little bushes. I'm doing kind of subtle, almost mid-tones right now. I'll jump back to some of the highlights. And so I'm just working with a bunch of colors, and that's kind of fun. Wipe your brush out on a paper towel for in between colors, or swap to a clean brush, whatever works best for you. There. Nice. And then this can be brought forward with just a little more light, not a whole lot. And you'll notice, I'm going to show you what I've done. Look, this background, it's fairly blurry and pale in color, right? And then we have these beautiful reds in the foreground. Not so many reds in the background. A couple just so we know it's the same landscape, but not many. What that does is it helps to bring this forward, push this area back. Pretty fun. Just use a couple of rules that we learn from nature to make your paintings look so amazing. Now I'm going to begin to work on our little road here. I've got just a beautiful soft tan color. And you see we're kind of building a nice movement to the path or road. And what that does is it makes it more interesting, and it also is going to lead me back into that painting. I'm going to hit this tree and then almost kind of feel like my eye curves up into there a bit. So there you go. Think about that when you make your compositions. Don't just throw it in and hope it's going to be interesting, because it probably won't be if you don't put some effort into the actual composition. It doesn't take a whole lot. It's not difficult. It really isn't. Just think about it for a while, you know. You're good at looking at things, and you know what looks good and what doesn't. And experiment. There. Of course, this side of the path is darker because the light's coming across, being shaded a bit here. There. Now with our filbert brush, I'm going to drop in just a little bit of snow. Now you might be looking at this painting and thinking, well, it looks like it's just about complete. Well, I guess it is. But I've been wanting for several weeks now to paint some snow in the foreground, kind of like where the snow is melted off for the most part, but it's sort of there anyway, you know, just a little bit, not a whole lot. You know the kind of landscape that I'm talking about. There. And I just think that this gives it a little interest. It makes it sort of different because we like painting different things together. So anyway, this is just sort of something I've been wanting to do for a while, so we're gonna do it. This is a perfect landscape to do it in because you can tell that it's definitely close to winter. All right, well, I think we're done. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Don't forget to check out my website, my DVDs, and also my brush line. And thanks for watching.